Okay, good morning, everybody. I never streamed this early, but I felt this stream is definitely important enough to stream this early. So last night we got into an issue with Save for Recovery. So as much as I love Resident Evil 2 music, I do have to explain this with clear thoughts. So Adobe Animate is not the best program. It's not. When it works, it's pretty good at what it does. But there are certain features within Adobe Animate that can make or break a project. First-hand experience, autosaving hurts projects, especially lengthy projects like this. Because what autosaving does, with autosaves, that's what it does. But it shows up at the worst possible moments. And autosaving in Adobe Animate, once it happens, you're completely locked out of everything. You can't even move anything in Adobe Animate until it's finished. Depending how long your project is, you may be waiting there for a while. And a problem with this is that would be good under normal circumstances, like, you know, you're protecting your files. But let's just say it stays there for like longer than 10 minutes. So you're just essentially not doing anything until the program decides and wants to finally go through. There's been instances where I've been stuck at 70 minutes for like at least 20 minutes. It's pretty crazy. So you're probably thinking a remedy would be Control-Alt-Delete, just restart the program. That's the worst possible thing you can do, because Adobe Animate, for some odd reason, it likes to break stuff. Worst case scenario is your whole entire project gets corrupted. Then you're shit out of luck. Another scenario is your keyframes get moved around. So I haven't touched this at all since it actually finished last night, because we were streaming. I don't know where I noticed, oh shit, auto recovery's on. That's more so my fault because I moved everything from my laptop all the way to my gaming rig, because my gaming rig's beefier and it's able to handle this project a lot better than being on that laptop. So I noticed, I'm like, oh shit, crap. Then when we were doing this specific scene, it started autosave for recovery, stopped at 38%. I'm like, you know what, let's end the stream. I'll let it do what it needs to do. As soon as it's done, I'll save it, then we'll go from there. So again, this is very early, but I felt this is important enough to stream early just to let people know how to actually fix this. So if you have autosaving on your project, you go, unfortunately OBS is stupid, so you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm gonna explain the best that I can. Click edit, go all the way down to preferences. Click preferences, go to edit preferences. And it'll be right here under auto recovery. So auto recovery is by default set for every 10 minutes on Adobe Animate. Uncheck it. I'd even uncheck hide stage border and use outlines for stage planning for better performance while you're there, but you have to make sure you uncheck auto recovery because it's gonna show up. It's gonna show up at the worst possible moment. The combo is you're watching this test movie, auto recovery shows up, you're locked in the movie playing it constantly over and over and over again. You can't get out of it. And it freezes. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do 2 watches of the test movie just to see if everything's good to go. I'll finish this specific scene that we were working on last night. Then later on tonight we'll come do stuff. But again, I felt this warranted a stream so I could actually explain how to stop auto recovery, because auto recovery will hurt your project really badly. It'll corrupt stuff if you get out of it via Control-Alt-Delete, things will get corrupted. It's happened to me before, and I've had a whole entire project be nearly done just die on me. So it's important if you're gonna be taking up a project like this, especially on Adobe Animate, I recommend not use auto saving. All right, let's see how this is. So the big thing is I'm looking for things that are misplaced. A white box. If a white circle, actually, if a white circle shows up where a symbol is, like for example, if Mia gets replaced by a white circle, this project's cooked. I gotta get rid of Mia's sprites and re-add her into the project. I already see an issue. It might be just a random frame that got added in there. It's so weird streaming this early. One of my I believe it was when we were first had it's Isaac versus Tret, that video. That's the infamous project that got destroyed by Adobe Animate and Safer Recovery. It could have been so much better, but one thing after another happened, and we got what we got. So you'll know if your symbols have been misplaced. Using Minardi's aura as an example, you'll see Minardi's aura in another position where it's not supposed to be at, or you'll see these two auras like somewhere else. I think it was the Reese section of this project with Mercury Lighthouse, which got corrupted too. We had all the overworld sprites there, and they were all replaced by circles. It happened on stream. Like, bro, what the fuck? So far, so good. It's looking good. But you just never know. We just had that one little mishap earlier. Once we get to the other rewatch, we'll see how it looks. I would personally say the best thing about having this on my actual gaming rig now, everything's just flowing so much smoothly. I know there was delay between the movie, streaming, and all the other stuff I have in the background, but this PC is pretty beefy. I do have to upgrade it again eventually. But definitely I'm happy with the results. We might have to add a few frames because everything's just moving very, very quickly now. Before I forget, your project is capped at 16,000 frames. The moment you pass 16,000 frames, you're not able to add any more symbols. Okay, let's see. Okay, it looks good, but let's pay attention here. This is where I noticed something was kind of wrong. We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but we're gonna fix this section right here. Yep. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Should be around here somewhere. All right. Okay. You see Death just disappears right there? For some odd reason, we have all these frames just missing. Very interesting. I don't know why that's happening, but we're just gonna move it regardless. One more should do it. There we go. That was not like that before. What would make this cooler, and we don't have to worry about it now, but quality of life effects. Adding snow trails right here would be good. Okay. So we're gonna save it. So you're probably wondering, since you don't want us to use auto recovery or auto saving, what do? Just regular old Control S. At least you know it's gonna be instant instead of completely stopping the entire project. Like the whole entire stream yesterday was going good for the most part. We were getting ready to start the next scene for with Isaac and Satoru's section, and then bam, save for auto recovery, and I couldn't do anything else. I was completely locked out of the program until it was finished, and it took at least like an extra 10 minutes for it to actually do. Yeah, so let's fix this. We're gonna make this a little bit smoother. So tutorial shows up. Where is he? We might have to move him a tiny little bit. That's where he shows up. All right, we're gonna grab tutorials. What we're probably gonna have to do is we're gonna probably have to move this effect. If I can find it. Yeah, we're gonna probably have to move this effect above him. Well, below him, actually. It should be... Let's zoom out a little bit. All right, let's do like another... Well, let's finish this up, then we'll wrap it up. Because again, I was not trying to stream that long tonight. Well, this morning, because I gotta go take care of some stuff. But as I mentioned before, I felt this was important enough that we actually show what's going on. So we're gonna grab this. We're gonna make sure we have an empty space, which we do. We're gonna put it under hit sparks. Hit sparks should be fine. If I'm not using a layer, I will gladly put something on top of it. All right, we're gonna grab all this, drag it up. Oh, make sure you grab everything. Drag it up. Put it right there. Perfect. So that ends right there. Blank keyframe. Save it. So here's what we have to do now. Because here's Satoros' damage sprite. We're going to have him transition off screen. We're gonna make it a very quick. No, we'll make it a very slow one actually. So insert keyframe. We're gonna go over tweening again. So pay attention. Tweening. So if we want a character to move from point A to point B, we have to first have a starting point, which Satoros' starting point is right here, right underneath the flames. His B position, where we're about to move, is going to go off screen. So we're going to use the arrow keys to bring him off screen. I just personally just like using the arrow keys. You can just drag him, but I'd rather just personally keep him on the x-axis. And just make sure he's completely out of the workspace. That should be good enough. Yep, he's completely out. We'd insert a blank keyframe right there, so he disappears. So now we have a point A, we have a point B. But it looks stupid because he just teleports over there. So in order to get this right, we're going to insert a tween. So right click, create classic tween. So in a situation like this, you can use either a classic ease, and it's classic ease, the best way for me to describe it is how Sonic the Hedgehog moves in Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and Knuckles. Or you can use an ease now. When they ease into the movement, then they go. But for a situation like this, it's classic ease is fine. So Satoros just goes like that. So now we're gonna have Isaac chase him. Perfect. So grab this, copy. We'll have Isaac show up right here. Like keyframe, paste. We have to modify him, transform, flip horizontal. We're gonna get rid of this tween because we don't need this active anymore. I think we'll get this to work better is, let's move this right here. Let's grab this. Copy this. Insert a blank keyframe right here. Insert a blank keyframe. Paste Isaac right here. Move Isaac. We might add a blend to this. I'm not 100% sure yet, so that should be good. Perfect. Now it doesn't look stupid. insert blank keyframe. So we'll be doing the exact same thing we just did with Satoru's, but just the same amount of time. We're gonna have Isaac go right after him and insert blank keyframe. Isaac disappears. We're gonna insert a classic tween, classic ease. Perfect. To make this look a little bit more cinematic, we're gonna add a camera to this. But before we do that, let's add another couple of frames. Ooh. I fucked up a little bit. Perfect. So as soon as Satoru starts moving, we're gonna add a camera keyframe. Insert keyframe. Perfect. Insert another keyframe. We're gonna move the camera. Unfortunately, where the hell is the camera? All right, so it's kind of a funny thing. This is not my normal layout. For some odd reason, as soon as I brought everything over here, it changed how everything is positioned. So I gotta find where the hell this camera is, and it's right there. Perfect. So this is normally up top. This is usually over there. So we're gonna click the camera. Make sure we're on properties. Camera's on. We're just gonna move the camera a little bit over to the left. Right, actually, excuse me. Here we go. From there, we're gonna insert another keyframe and reposition it how it was before. So it was on 270. Yeah, 270 and 35. So this has to go back on 35. Perfect. Same thing we did before is point A, point B. Insert classic tween. Now it'll follow Satoru's and Isaac. Actually, we don't even need to do that. No, we do. Don't mind the sudden jump. We'll fix that later when we put the next background. I just haven't decided what the new background's gonna be. We're to save it, we're to watch the test movie, then we'll wrap it up. So, as mentioned before, the main purpose of this stream today was just have a little powwow about auto recovery and autosave, because it's arguably the most dangerous thing that can happen with your project. It's a terrible, terrible thing that it happens frequently, every 10 minutes. So, you know what to do. Edit, go to preferences, edit preferences, uncheck auto recovery, because it's automatically set at 10 minutes. Normally it would be a good thing, but it happens during movies. Did I turn on the camera? Yes, I did. If it happens during a movie, you're kind of cooked. Like, you're gonna be watching this over and over and over again until the auto recovery finally finishes, if it finishes. I was stuck before watching one for like at least 20 minutes until it finally finished. And Control-Alt-Deleting, you run the risk of corrupting your project. And if you're like almost done with this, like, I would be very pissed off if that happened. Anyways, as usual, hopefully everybody enjoyed the stream. Later on tonight, we'll be doing a secondary stream. And I felt this was important enough that we wake up and we'll do a stream explaining autosave and auto recovery. Why you need to make sure it turns off. And while we wait I'm still paying attention to this, but while we wait, let's explain a couple of things. You'll know your project is corrupted if symbols start disappearing and being replaced by big ass circles. White circles. I kid you not. It's actually it's a white circle. Sometimes with Adobe Animate, the camera doesn't like to cooperate, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. Just turn it back on and off. But if you start noticing, like Mia, for example, on her right arm, there's an ice effect on it for plot reasons, which we'll explain here later on. But if you notice that specific effect is somewhere where it's not supposed to be, it's probably the camera goofing up and moving symbols for some odd reason. Let's see. I still don't have a name for you yet. And this is I'm probably gonna lose sleep over this. The amount of times me and Minardi have just been flying around from explosions is actually kind of hilarious. And a lot of the action scenes, they do have to get slowed down later because certain effects, they move very, very quickly. But luckily, we can remedy that because slowing things down once we get to DaVinci Resolve. Oh yeah, fuck. Do I want to do that now? We're gonna do it real quick. So give me a second while I wrap stuff. Luckily, I know exactly what that effect is. Actually, let me pay attention to this. And a good thing is, by me moving this to this gaming rig, we have an extra... We have a fuck ton of space. I'm not gonna deny it. We have a shit ton of space. I have 2 terabytes on one section. I have the terabyte that this project's on. And I have a lot of other space on this rig. Okay, perfect. So it's moving good. We just gotta slow things down a little bit, but that's gonna be a later thing. But I just want to make sure I actually do something real quick because I know I'm gonna forget it later. Lotus on lore. It's under my own personal stuff. Miscellaneous. Where the hell is it? It's Shine 5. Okay. Actually, it's Shining Light. Okay. Let's go back to Jenna. First of all, let's add a couple of extra frames here. That should be good. 1, 2, 3, 4. You added 4 frames there. What we're going to do is go all the way back to where Jenna is. Should be around here somewhere. Nope, still got to go further back. Okay, perfect. This has been her gimmick because of her eye. Whenever she's monologuing to herself and her hair is covering her face, you just see it shining. There's a reason why, which we're not going to get into because we are not in Golden Sun 2 yet. This project, unless somehow it gets shut down, is going to probably pushing it to like 200 episodes. All right, so we're going to put this under Fluff Effects. So, we'll put it on Fluff Effects 2. Insert blank keyframe. We're going to grab the specific effect that I'm going to use. Make sure our library is on. Shining Light. Come on. All right. We gotta do a few things first. We have to do the same thing we did with Minardi. I don't think we need to do the same exact thing. We'll see. Do I want to use this one? I do. Alright, so bring it down. You're zooming on your face. Probably bring this down a little tiny bit more. Perfect. Properties. There's already a movie clip, which is good. Let's screen it for now. Perfect. There we go. We're gonna do one more watch. Let's be on the safe side of things. We did about 25 minutes, which is good. If anything, we might have to make this a little tiny bit bigger, but I think we got a good size. Insert blank keyframe. Save it. Let's make it a tad bit bigger. Fuck, I actually don't have it up right now. I like showing examples, so we'll show an example real quick. Everything else is on my laptop. No capture. It's media player. Perfect. It should be under completed videos. If this doesn't work, I'll just do it later. Not a big deal. Okay, perfect. It actually did work. Cover your ears, because this is probably gonna be loud as fuck. Yep, very loud. Also, in that sprite animation, she says muda yo. Muda means useless. So, there we go, perfect. It should be all the way back here. There we go. Just pay attention to Minardi's eye. I love that scene. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay. But that's because of her healing gimmick. Alright, so we should be good. Now, let's watch. For people that are not familiar with anime, when your character has bangs and their hair's covering their eyes, there's a reason why. Eyes have been always seen as a gateway to see someone's emotional state. If their hair's covering it, you can't tell their emotional state. If you played Nier Automata before, there's a reason why they have visors. Well, those headbands / visors. Gotta take away that human emotion. If this camera's not on, I'll be pissed. Alright, it's on. That's an ongoing gag. Me turning off the camera, getting to turn it on and playing a movie and just like, what the fuck? Alright, so we did find one issue before. So I don't know what happened, that frames were missing from where Def slashes Mia off screen, but he just randomly disappeared. So we added the frames back in, so we're good. So besides that, we did a lot in this very early stream. It's 10:30, so it's not that early anymore, but I felt it was important enough to actually explain things about auto recovery and why it's very bad. Especially if your project is if your project is lengthy, there's a lot of assets. You being forced to probably Control Alt Delete is a very bad thing. Because once you load it up, you might be in for a very sad surprise. Ask me how I know. So the biggest things we're looking for right now, before we wrap it up, we're just making sure that the transition into the next scene with Isaac and Satoros is good. Don't really care that much about Jenna in the water for now. That's just something I just came up on a whim. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Whenever we have her monologuing, that does happen from time to time. Her gimmick, as we've shown, is she enjoys monologuing and talking. I always pictured Jenna as just the you don't stop talking type of person. And the gag is people just attack her when she yaps. But if I had to say one thing about this, what would be intimidating for people is the Aseprite portion. Because Aseprite, it's scary. It's very scary if you don't know what you're doing. Because these sprites, they're made for a JRPG. They're not supposed to be in this type of environment. Okay, perfect. They're not made for this type of environment. So you'll be spending a lot of long days just hoping for the best, experimenting, probably being salty, and hell, if things work out, they work out. But it usually does work out. There are some things I tried that I couldn't do. I didn't let it get to me. But yeah, definitely Aseprite, I feel, is probably the most intimidating aspect of a project like this. Because again, you're manipulating sprites that aren't supposed to be in this type of setting. Like Minardi's sprite is, ugh. I went the extra mile with her. Perfect. All right, cool. So we're gonna save it again. Sure, we're good. So hopefully people learned something today. Definitely, I recommend not having autosaving on because autosaving, you run the risk for a lot of bad things happening to your project. So besides that, we did good for these past 30 minutes. Later on tonight, I'll come back and I'll do another stream and we'll go from there. So I do lore script writing stuff, do some IRL things, come back, do this, then have enough time to go to bed. All right, guys, take care. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye. Enjoy the VOD.